Imagine looking at things like an outsider. Looking in is called disassociated. Imagining looking through your own eyes is called associated. Imagination can be used to change the way you look at things and events. You can imagine events in different ways to what really happened. This way you do not cause so much distress. Perhaps you are not remembering the true event because the mind has created a protective story. You may be holding on to memories to prove to yourself that the event really happened. You are allowed to let the memories go. You can move on with your life. You can cut loose the anchor that has been holding the pain in place. Let all of the senses you feel fade away until it is just a blur that you can draw over, like an old painting, like painting over dirty marks on your room wall. It might take a few layers of paint before you forget them. If you have a bad habit or memory you wish to remove, imagine a new image you wish to replace it with. Imagine it shrinking to a small part of the old image. Suddenly make it bigger so that it covers the old image that you don't want. Make a swish sound in your mind as you do it. It is like throwing a pot of paint at a wall. If you keep getting memories coming in at you like a swish, instantly swish an image of your own choice over it. This should stop the bad image taking hold in your mind. When trying to get information or tackle problems, ask the questions in the following order. Environment. Where, when, with who. Behavior. What happened? Capabilities and skills. How? Beliefs and values. Why? Identity. Who? Purpose. What for? For who? Ask the questions about yourself to understand yourself. We cannot change things until we accept it is happening and it needs changing. We must want to change. We must work out a way to change. We must look for opportunities to change. Constant practice will help achieve the change. You can change a habit. The habit is not you, your identity, or your beliefs. You learn skills over time. You may make a few mistakes, but with practice one day it just clicks into place. It is the same with the mind. One day things may click into place and you will find an improvement in the way you think. Concentrate on where you want to be, not where you were. Plan things on paper so that you can refer to your plan. PTSD. In the same way as when we hear a particular tune, we jump back to an event or time. When something serious happens in someone's life, the brain processes all the information as best as it can do. If it cannot process it because it is so powerful, it gets anchored in your mind. You remember it just in case the event happens again. Even though the event is over, and will never happen again. When your mind jumps back to a bad time, imagine changing to a better image. With practice, the mind may be able to bypass the bad memory and go to the pleasant one. Phobias are similar. Something happens. You cannot consciously remember it, but the mind does. For example, a spider walks across your hand when you were a young child, when you were too young to realize the event was not as dangerous as you thought. Later in life, a spider causes fear, false emotions and reactions. Phobias can reduce over time by getting used to the fear bit by bit. Talking about the cause can help you face up to things, so that when an event or flashback happens, the fear and anxiety will not hit so hard. Photographs or films may help, gradually facing the cause, until you realize that it cannot harm you anymore. It may be that it is the constant attempt to get away from the past that keeps things fresh in the mind. A significant emotional event can create an anchor. The way we notice an event is called a gestalt. The gestalt can change the way we see and do things after a significant emotional event. Gestalt therapy is where we take an object. We imagine it is someone involved in the event. We tell them what we think and what we wanted to say at the time. Example, put a teddy bear in front of you. Imagine it is someone who gave you problems. Tell it what you think and believe. Shout at it if it helps you. Get every emotion out of you in a safe place. Take control of the situation and see the event in a different way. A therapist can guide you, either away or towards memories. Don't blame all teddy bears in the future. They are not the anchors to the past. When people talk, they don't use a complete description. They use a verbal shorthand. The person listening has learned over the years how to decode the shorthand. They build up a mental jigsaw of the message. It is probably not important to give an exact description for people to understand. They can ask if they want more information. The person speaking gets into the habit of deleting, generalizing, and distorting the message. A group of people may be judged good or bad when generalized. You probably have a town or village or an estate near you where you believe that all the people there are bad, so you avoid anyone who is from there, anyone who is different from you. Distortion is exaggerating a point. Metaphors are stories, figures of speech or sayings used to get a point over. A story includes characters, a plot, some conflict, a result at the end of the story. They can have a hidden message. An anecdote is a story that is supposed to have happened. It has a lesson to be learned. Stories can be more interesting than a boring speech. Metaphors can describe what something is like by comparison.